Tim Hugo, chairman of the Marco Rubio for President campaign. Okay, so Super Tuesday coming up. A lot of activity in the state. Your colleague, Bill Stanley, chairman of the Ted Cruz campaign, your former, I guess, colleague in politics, Eric Cantor, taking on the chairmanship of the Jeb Bush for President campaign. What is it that inspired you, Delegate Hugo, to take over or take charge of the Rubio campaign in Virginia?
Well, John, a couple things. I mean, you can go to the MarcoRubio.com website and look at the issues that I think are important for Virginia, important for us as conservatives, as common sense conservatives, whether it's life, whether it's marriage, jobs. Marco Rubio is strong on pro-defense. But the thing that got me is something, John, that you've heard me talk about, and I think you and I have talked about. You've got to have a vision, and you've got to have an aptitude and an ability to reach out to folks. I think every one of our candidates is head and shoulders ahead of Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. No doubt about that. But I really do believe that Marco Rubio has a unique ability to reach out to all of our Republicans, all of our conservatives, all of these independents and conservative Democrats who really want to make America better. You and I have talked about, some people reach out to the establishment conservatives, establishment, some to the Tea Party, some to the movement grassroots. I think if you look at Marco Rubio, he has the ability to do all three, all those groups, and do it with a positive message. I really do believe when it comes to Super Tuesday, and especially, November of the election year, 2016, you need somebody that says, I'm not against, this is what I'm for, this is where I want to take you. America may have a few blemishes, but we're going to continue to work together to make it a better country and continue with the American greatness and continue to make us a better country than we are today. I think Marco's that person.
Okay, so, Delegate, let's cut to brass tacks. He's languishing in the polls at this stage, and, you have to take some of this stuff seriously. He's about 4 or 5% nationally. 4 or 5% is consistent in just about every state, especially the early states. Has no organization to speak of in Virginia. Well,
that's my job. I've got to work on the organization, so that's starting. So we'll get that going.
Okay, so basically, he just hasn't gotten the traction. Everybody knows that, Rubio was in a way kind of an establishment choice. A lot of people on Wall Street very comfortable with him, but he just hasn't gained traction. Why?
I think he will. Remember a couple things. If you look at this time 4 years ago, you had a different set of candidates leading the polls. 4 years ago, we had Rick Perry up, a good man. We had Michelle was up, for Congresswoman from Minnesota, Bachmann. You had a lot of people up, and this is early in the process. But I think when you step back a little bit and look at who has the ability to communicate and to reach, who has an issue set, a conservative values, and who has a story. Here's a guy. His family came over from Cuba. His dad was literally the waiter in the hotel, and here's a family that lived paycheck to paycheck, and now he's running for president of the United States. I think it only happens in America that something like that happens. But two, I think we're going to be patient, and I think when people start to see what he is and what he can do, I think they're going to gravitate toward that. But it's real early in the process. Remember, you and I know this is a year away or 8 months away from Super Tuesday. We'll get there, and we're going to work hard and make it work. But this is a real opportunity for America to look at a generational change, to look at a conservative who has a story, and a conservative. Look at the issue matrix on MarcoRubio.com. I think that everybody will feel comfortable with.
Do you think Trump will fade?
I think Donald Trump is talking and resonating on a lot of issues. There's no doubt he resonates. But I think Marco Rubio, when it gets down, one, you're going to start to see in the next few weeks, a number of these people are going to start to drop out. A number of the 16. They're just not going to have the money, the organization, or the ability to do it. I think the ones that have a little bit, there's 3 or 4 or 5 that have ability to stay in for a number for the long haul. And I think and Marco is one of those. And I think once they start going head-to-head, drawing contrast, talking about issues, and people really starting to focus, I think Marco Rubio is going to come out on top. And, I think it's going to be a good year. In this discussion, it's good for Republicans. People say, oh, we're fighting about this. No, discussion's good. It's good to vet these issues. It's good to be out there. But in the end, you've got to have somebody that can win in November of 2016 that can reach out with a positive vision. I think that's Rubio.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Delegate Tim Hugo. The number one issue that's been on people's minds that has one of the issues that has propelled Donald Trump to front-runner status is immigration and closing the sieve that we have in the South, and also what to do with the anywhere from 11 to 30 million illegals here in the United States. No one seems to know the exact number, probably closer to the mid-20s. Marco Rubio, when he was in the Senate, was part of the Gang of Eight that basically had amnesty as the centerpiece for immigration reform. I just don't see how that plays now.
Well, I think one, he recognized that wasn't going, and what he has said now. And look, everybody learns as we grow. And I think if you look at what he's talking about now, he's like, 40% of the people, the illegal immigration problem is from people overstaying their visa. 40%. Right. And the other thing, John, and this is something that we're all going to have to face as elected officials across the board. The other part is America is a magnet for jobs, and we refuse to turn it off. One of the things Rubio has talked about is E-Verify, where every employee is verified before they're hired. Because what's happening right now, and I see it, and I hear it, well, we need the labor, we need the cheap labor. Well, that's what's drawing people here.
Right.
I really don't, think everybody's coming thousands of miles just because they like the winters in New Jersey or Michigan or wherever it may be. I think what they're doing is they're looking for jobs, and America's the magnet for jobs. And also, too, I think we really got to say to our employers, you've got to make sure that if somebody you hire, you need to validate whether they are an American citizen and legally here. And that's one of the things Rubio has talked about. You've got to turn the magnet off. And I think he's going to do a good job with that and make sure that will begin to solve the problem.
Now, Senator, if people are interested in the Marco Rubio campaign, of which you are the Virginia chair, and they want to get involved, where do they go?
Well, they can start going to timhugo.com later today, and obviously they can go to marcorubio.com and find all the conservative issues that Marco is going to champion, and I call them the common sense conservative issues that Marco is going to champion across Virginia and across the nation.
Okay, now let's get to the House. You've got a 67-seat, right, supermajority now. How do you see that changing or playing out after the November elections?
Well, a couple things. One, the environment is pretty good right now. We've got a lot of work we've got to continue to do, but some of the numbers are coming back in, some of the polls from around the state, and it's interesting. We seem to be about 5, 6, 7 points ahead of where we were of August of 2013. That just means our candidates are in a better position today, but that doesn't mean they're going to be in a better position in November on Election Day. So they got to continue to work hard. So I feel cautiously optimistic, but they've got to go knock on doors, raise money, talk to their voters, to their constituents, and I think we're going to do well. I heard you're having my friend Tommy Norman, Senator Norman, on this afternoon, or
yes,
a little later in your show.
About 20 minutes.
And I will tell you, and maybe this is heresy for me to say this as a member of the House leadership, but there is nothing more important to our common sense conservative majority in the House than to maintain the majority in the Republican majority in the Senate. Because I will tell you right now, the governor will, if they take over, the Democrats take over in the Senate next year, they will shut down the budget process, try to have a government shutdown exclusively over the issue of Obamacare expansion in Virginia. Mm-hmm. And like I said, as a member of the House leadership, I shouldn't be saying this, but equal importance to me is keeping my majority and expanding it is to keep the Senate Republican majority. I think it's that important.
I tell you what, Delegate Hugo, it's going to be very close because Terry McAuliffe is raising a lot of money, and a lot of these races that are hanging in the balance you can bet in the final month they're going to dump millions of dollars in these. The Republicans in every key race are expected to get outspent in the final month 2-1. Every single race.
I think you're right. They're going to get outspent, but I don't think they're going to be outworked. And you were talking about Mount Trashmore, and I used to run up and down Mount Trashmore when I was a lot younger, in my hometown there, Virginia Beach. You've got a couple races down there. Bill DeSteph is going to win.
Yes.
That open seat.
Yes.
Delegate Bill DeSteph. Frank Wagner is working incredibly hard and is going to hold that seat. And then, they're targeting Frank, and I think they're going to waste a lot of money there.
Agreed.
And then there's races around the state where, the environment is better than it was 2 years ago. That doesn't mean we're going to win, but that means we're starting off a little bit better, and we've just got to do our job. But tell you, it will be a hard day for common sense conservatives if Terry McAuliffe and the Democrats take over the Senate. Because let me tell you, this is honest truth. McAuliffe has one reason for getting up every morning, and that is to elect Hillary Clinton to the presidency of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe that. That is his political goal. He says it, he does it, he lives it. And if we don't recognize that and pull our together, and that's what I was talking about for conservatives and Tea Party, we've got to work together because there's a storm brewing just over the horizon, and it's Hurricane Hillary and Hurricane Terry McAuliffe.
Well, there's no question.
Guys,
Look,
we got to fight hard together.
There is going to be an onslaught of money spent in these races in the final weeks, and I think Wagner's in good shape, as you mentioned. But look, as the opportunities for Democrats to pick seats up narrow, they're going to look at they're going to keep looking at Gary McCollum in the 7th because it's all they've got. I mean, they're at risk in the Colgan seat right now. I mean, Hal Parrish is ahead there. He's likely to win. They thought they were going to take the Watkins seat over, but this guy, Glenn Sturtevant, is doing better than expectations. He's tied, so that seat's at risk. They have to defend the Edwards seats in 21. So they've got all this going on, and at the end of the day, they might look at the 7th as their only opportunity. But I think Wagner's going to win.
Wagner's going to win. Frank Wagner has been I've known Frank for 20 years. He's a good man. He works hard. He's got a vision, and he is out there knocking on doors and raising money and doing exactly what he needs to do. And he's a good fit for his district. And I think in the end, people are going to recognize what he's done. He's a leader. He'll be chairman of a committee, so they'll be important to Virginia and to the beach, Virginia Beach. I just think, like I said, McAuliffe is raising money. He got a $250,000 check the other day from some guy in New York who doesn't have anything to do. Right. McAuliffe's got a Rolodex that will reach across America, and we've just got to do our homework. And our candidates have to work now in September and October, because you're right, late October, first week in November, there's going to be an onslaught of mail and TV from people that have nothing to do with Virginia. No, we couldn't find Virginia on a map. The only connection they have to Virginia is Terry McAuliffe's Rolodex.
And it's all about Hillary, no question. We're out of time. We want to thank Delegate Tim Hugo for being with us. He is also the Virginia State Chairman of the Marco Rubio for President campaign. You want more information, go to timhugo.com. That's timhugo.com. Hey, Tim, great to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Good to be with the commander of common sense.
All right.